so embarrassing. Hey guys, what's up? It's Megan. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are really going to be exposing myself and we're going to be going through all of my physical TBR, aka all the books that I own that I haven't read. I mean, compared to other videos like this that I've watched, I don't have that many, but I've got more than 10, which is a lot. Separate this video into chapters based on the genres I'm going to be talking about, so if you want to skip to like your favorite genre, feel free. I'm going to start with fantasy because I only have 2 books. Both of these are very popular. The first one I got at Half Price Books, and that's Girls of Paper and Fire. The person who convinced me to finally buy this was Kat from Bambina Katarina. First of all, this paperback is gorgeous. I need to take the sticker off. Please don't judge me. I just remember watching Kat's reading vlogs and seeing her talk about this and all of the quotes that she pulled from it. I think she put in her reading journal or something a long time ago. I remember that. I remember all the stunning quotes, and I believe there is sapphic romance in here, which I'm very excited about. And I know that there are girls called paper girls used for the wealthy's pleasure, and I believe our main character is one of those, and that's all I know. The other fantasy book I have is probably the most popular one circling Book Talk and BookTube right now, and is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I am obsessed with these new covers. This is not a very floppy paperback, which I think is one of the reasons I haven't picked it up yet, which sounds so stupid as it is. However, I'm also scared because of all of the hype. Everyone is obsessed with this series. I read Throne of Glass, just the first one. I was in college a few years back, and it was okay. It wasn't my fave, so I did not continue with the series. But this one is fairies, and if you know me, I love the Cruel Prince series, and anything with fae now, I'm like, bitch, give it to me. But I will get to this soon, I hope. Next, I'll move on to historical fiction. I've got 4 books, 3 of which are by the same author, and I feel so bad I haven't read these yet because they were gifted by my lovely mother, but I'm a mood reader, and as you will see, I want to read all these books. I just haven't been in the mood for them. First one is The Queen'S Gambit. I was obsessed with this show on Netflix when it came out, I think in 2020. Beth Harmon's story, the cinematography and everything of that show adaptation was stunning. And I think it's been long enough now that I don't remember every single detail about the story. I think I'm gonna read this soon. I somehow do not know what this is about. We follow Beth Harmon, who is an orphan, and while she's in the orphanage, this man who I believe is the handyman of said orphanage, her and him bond over chess. He teaches her how to play and she becomes a prodigy, and then it's kind of about her career. There are trigger warnings for addiction with this book. I don't remember the other ones, but definitely look them up if you want to read this. The other 2 I have are actually a duology by this author, Walter Tevis, who also wrote The Queen's Gambit, and that is Hustler and The Color of Money. I don't remember which one is first. I want to say it's The Hustler. This was also a film, so it's been adapted. So once I read this, I want to watch the movie. And these covers are stunning. This, I believe, is similar to Queen's Gambit, except this has to do with pool hustler, and I believe he gets in over his head and people come after him, and that's all I know. If you've read these, please let me know your thoughts because I have not seen like anyone talk about them. And lastly, this one is kind of like a historical fiction fantasy. I didn't know where to put it, and everyone and their brother and mother and sister and uncle has read this, and that's The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I have the like special edition of this from Target, I believe, which they still have if you want to get it. I started annotating this book when I got it months ago, and I have not read it. Kind of put me in a reading slump, so I put this bad boy down. I think I got this last summer now, and I do want to read it, but for all of the hype that it's getting, it really did not draw me in. Like, I think I got up to page 37, which again is not super far in this book, so I am gonna give it another chance, but I just found it really boring. I've heard people like Destiny talk about this and how the first bit was really slow, but then once you get into it, it's magnificent. So I'm gonna give this another chance, just not sure when. Now we're gonna move on to romance and like general fiction. Start with the 2 romance books I have on here. The first one is Permanent Record by Mary H.K. Choi. I read and loved Emergency Contact by her. I think back in 2020 is when I read it. And I've been wanting to read this ever since, and I found this at Half Price Books for like $5, and I was like, you're coming home with me. I'm gonna start reading this today. I read the first sentence and I was like, yes. So I know this is a romance between this guy who works at a health food store or a bodega in New York City. He's kind of struggling. He's 24. He's trying to pay off his like student loans from college, and then he meets this girl who is a social media influencer who is, you know, doing very well for herself, and I believe there's a romance between the 2 of them. Loved Emergency Contact, like I said, so I have high hopes for that one. The other one I have is another popular one that has gotten popular fairly recently, and that's Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I really have seen Destiny talk about her love for this author, which makes me very excited. I was kind of skeptical about this because I haven't really read a lot of like small town romances. This one is between a girl from the big city, I believe, and then a guy from a small town, and they have a romance. And the girl is like an ER doc, and the guy is, what is he? He's a carpenter, which sounds kind of hot. So I'll probably read this one soon too. I've got 2 more like general fiction books. We have Starfish by Akemi Dawn Bowman. I also got this at Half Price Books for like $6. This is one of Chloe from Chloe Bunny, her favorite books, and I love her. I trust her recommendations like with my life. This is one of her favorite books of all time. I know that it is about a girl who has a very narcissistic mother, and so she struggles a lot with that and with her mental health. I heard this is quite hard to read because of the dynamic between Kiko and her mother, and that you just are infuriated by the things that come out of her mom's mouth. So I'm so excited to read this. I have heard amazing things about this. I know Kevin also really liked this, and I'm excited to have my heart broken and hopefully have a happy ending for Kiko. Then I have another one that's been extremely popular, specifically the end of 2022, and that's Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Devin. I have not read anything else by this author, but this one sounded amazing. It's, again, stunning, and I've heard that it has a lot of representation and a lot of poignant, sweet moments about friendship in here. This was also the 2022 book of the year for book of the month, so I picked this up. I know that the main character is a student at Harvard. Honestly, that's all I know about this book, other than the fact that everyone has loved it so much and has been raving and reviewing this like 5 stars. So this needs to happen soon. We're gonna get on to the biggest category, which is thrillers. Here they are. Most of these are book of the month books. The first one, The Lies I Tell by Julie Clark. I believe we follow a woman who has had several different identities. I'm not sure if she's categorized like a con woman or not, but I believe she's a real estate agent in her like newest identity, and I'm assuming someone finds out that she's been lying and her lies catch up to her. My newest edition is What Lies in the Woods by Kate Allison Marshall, which I've heard wonderful things about this author from Riley Marie. And I believe these girls, there was a murder when they were in high school, and then they are kind of haunted by it. They all get back together when they're adults and shit happens. Then I have Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. This girl, all of her family kind of avoid each other. They don't really speak, but then they're all summoned together for their grandmother's 80th birthday, and someone dies. Then I have Sign Here by Claudia Lux, and this one I got in the month of October, and all I know is that this guy works in hell. I believe he's training people to sell their soul or something. I'm not really sure. He needs one last member of the Harrison family to sell their soul. So I was right. Really intriguing, really fun, and hopefully there's some spooky elements in here. Then I have Killers of a Certain Age by Deanna Rayburn, and I've heard really good things about this. I believe Riley also read this book. All these women like worked for a museum, and they were like an elite network of assassins called the museum. They're all in like a retirement home now, but they have to solve a murder. And that sounds fantastic. It's giving me like Only Murders in the Building vibes. It's not very long either, so hopefully I can get to this very, very soon. And lastly, I think this is more of like a slasher series, but it's the Fear Street super thriller Nightmares. It's 2 books in one, The Dead Boyfriend and Give Me a Kill by R.L. Stine. I loved the Fear Street movie trilogy that came out on Netflix in 2020 or 2021. I saw this at Half Price Books months ago and bought it because I was like, need to read this. In The Dead Boyfriend, this girl's in like her first real relationship, and then she sees her boyfriend cheating on her, and so she wants to kill him to like get revenge. Give Me a Kill, I believe this woman is a cheerleader, and there's only like one cheerleader left standing. Like all of the cheerleaders have been massacred. So this sounds like a good time, and I don't know why I haven't gotten to it yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I have 16 books on my physical TBR, which is a lot for me. It's very overwhelming. So please send me all of the good reading vibes and let me know which books I should read after I finish Permanent Record. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!